number you have dialed has been changed.
I come from a family of immigrants. My parents left Zimbabwe in the late 1980s when Robert Mugabe came to power. My dad packed everything he owned into an Alfa Romeo he couldn't afford and drove to the border with cash sewn into the seats. In the next few months, the rest of my family joined him in Johannesburg, where they built a new life. My grandfather died a short while later. Almost 30 years afterwards, we found out that my great-great-grandfather, George, who fought in the Second Boer War, was buried only 100 kilometers away. My grandfather had no idea. He came to Africa after flying in World War II with nothing. No money, no family. And all that time, his own flesh and blood was buried just down the road.
Just been trying to figure out where the cemetery is. I have to use a GPS tracker to get the address, but I found it. It's closed. Should we drive around it and see if we can't get in?
Well, the top gate through there is closed as well.
Looks like it's deserted. I feel like this cemetery should be open on public holidays. Damn!
Well, there was that other one as well.
Yeah, they're up here. Aha, here we go.
You found it?
There it is.
So George was in his late 20s when he enlisted in the British Army. He left his wife, his 2 daughters, and his unborn son to fight the Boers in South Africa. That should tell you everything you need to know about life in England in the late 1800s. This was the Industrial Revolution. It was completely normal for a child to work in a coal mine. Women couldn't vote. You were lucky if you ate meat once a week. It's hardly surprising that my great-great-grandfather got on a boat, traveled 3 weeks to a country he'd never seen to fight a bunch of farmers that he'd never met. Ultimately, George died of dysentery. There was no medical care. More British soldiers died of disease than on the battlefield. After figuring out that George wasn't coming home, his wife surrendered their 2 daughters to her parents and left for Wales with another man. That's where my great-grandfather grew up and where my grandfather was born. It's a crazy story that shows you just how far we've come in the last 100 years. Today, you can just buy a plane ticket and be anywhere you want in 24 hours. Back then, when you left to fight or to start a new life, you left for good.